Hey there everyone, welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Today is Thursday, April 26, 2012, and just late last night we've seen some more mayhem in Montreal as the police clashed with some of these student protesters. Nearly 5,000 of them took to the streets last night to continue to voice their displeasure about the proposed hike in their tuition fees. And I've talked about this previously in some of my video blogs in the last few days. But today what I wanted to talk a little bit about and what's frustrating me is the mainstream media's coverage of these events, and particularly what took place last night, and how they will often portray the protesters as violent, dangerous, anarchist types, and therefore the police had no other choice but to clamp down on them all. That is what we're seeing over and over again. And having been at many of these types of protests, even in Montreal, in Quebec, I know firsthand that 99% of the time that's not how things actually went down. So let's take a look at some of the reports coming out about what took place last night. This from the Montreal Gazette. And it says here, Montreal is waking up to a morning of smashed windows, vandalized cars, and questions about how a protest degenerated into yet another violent clash between police and demonstrators. Angry over a short-lived effort to put an end to the tuition crisis through negotiations bubbled over Wednesday night when a hastily organized demonstration turned ugly and police used batons, pepper spray, and percussion bombs to disperse the crowd. After 2 hours of peaceful protest, police declared the march illegal, and the situation unraveled quickly. Percussion bombs and pepper spray exploded at the center of Peel and St. Catherine Street. A car was set on fire at the corner of Stanley and St. Catharines, and chaos ensued as the police started to push the crowd back using whatever tools they had in their arsenal. Onlookers blamed a small group of protesters for instigating the trouble. A standoff between mounted police and taunting protesters brought the crowd, estimated at about 5,000, to a dead halt at Drummond and St. Catherine Street, and then the police intervention squad moved in, banging on their shields. Officers in full riot gear marched up Peel Street, and the air in the area was thick with pepper spray. The crowd then split into two groups, some heading back to the Sherbrooke Street where they had come from, while others went east on St. Catharines. Now this is interesting here, where it says, within the crowd, some people were wearing ski goggles and masks as they ran away from the police, who had ordered the protesters to disperse at around 10:15 p.m., not long after the vandalism started. Well, this is a bit of a contradiction now. Let's look at what he just said a few paragraphs up here, where he says, after 2 hours of peaceful protest, police declared the march illegal, and the situation unraveled quickly. So here they're saying that there was 2 hours of peaceful protest, then the police declared the march illegal, and the situation unravels quickly. And then just a few paragraphs down, it says, within the crowd, some people were wearing ski goggles and masks, and they ran away from the police, who had ordered the protesters to disperse at around 10:15, not long after the vandalism started. So, which is it here? Did the police declare the protest to be illegal, therefore causing some of these people to get on the defensive? Or did the vandalism start first and then the police crack down on the crowd? Now, mind you, they're often at these protesters, yes, you will find a small group of these black bloc anarchist types who do want to engage in vandalism and some violent activities. But 99% of the time, as I said, it's often the police who instigate these things. And when these types of people are backed up into a corner or told that they are not allowed to demonstrate, that's when they get on the defensive, and all you need is one idiot to throw a rock or something like that, and the police then have their excuse to clamp down on the entire group of protesters. Remember now, 5,000 students with a very legitimate message gets completely overshadowed by this small 0.5% of the crowd who got backed up into a corner, got on the defensive, and engaged in fighting back against the police. And that's what you'll see from the mainstream media. That's what frustrated me this morning when I saw a clip from the CBC that, in a nutshell, was saying, look at these violent, dangerous protesters. The police had no choice but to crack down on the entire group and shoot tear gas and pepper spray and tear gas into the crowd. But as I said, I've been to enough of these to know that the police will manipulate the situation in order to provide the excuse that they need to be able to clamp down on the protesters. And something I want to show with you today, I've covered this, something that happened here in Quebec a few years ago, where sometimes when the protesters don't go for the bait and they don't fall into the trap and they don't get violent or aggressive, well, then the police have to actually create the vandalism and the violence and be the ones to get the crowd to join in with them doing that. So many of you may recall in Montebello, Quebec, there were 3 Quebec police officers who were caught red-handed doing this. Now, I've covered this extensively over the years, but there are some new members here to Press for Truth who have maybe never seen this before. And besides, it's a good time, considering what's going on in Quebec now, to analyze this clip once again. And this here is some of the footage from a protest that I was at in 2007, where 3 Quebec police officers were caught dressing up as these violent anarchists with rocks in their hands, trying to instigate the rest of the people in the crowd to join in and to get aggressive with them. Let's just check, let's just watch. So this union leader here, noticed that these 3 guys are being aggressive. They're dressed up with their masks, they're holding rocks, and he's trying to tell them, guys, this is a peaceful protest, you're not welcome here. He recognizes that they're police officers, and he calls them out on it. Now listen to what he says here. He said they want us to get aggressive with them. So they were dispersed into this crowd dressed up as violent protesters, and their job was to try to instigate some violence and to try to get some of these other guys to join them with throwing the first rock. You can even see in the back here, one of these so-called protesters is communicating with the riot police here. So here they pretty much, they know they're caught now. They're backed up into a corner, and they know that these people have, you know, our cover is blown. They know we're cops.
Take your mask off. You're a fucking cop, the three of you. Go on, it's all right. It's a peaceful demonstration. These three guys are cops, everybody.
Now watch what happens here. Just as he called them out on being cops, and he tries to take off their mask to identify them, the police officers have no choice but to do this. They dive into the line of riot cops to get arrested. So they knew that the crowd was onto them. They knew that they had been figured out. And here's somebody stuck up a camera over the shoulders of people and snapped a picture as these guys were getting arrested. And you can see here, this is a Quebec police officer. These are all Quebec police officers. Here are two of these so-called protesters. And you can see that these police officers are wearing their police-issued boots. And you can see on the apparent protesters, they all are also wearing the Quebec police-issued boots. So again, it came out that the Quebec police ended up having to admit to this and said, yeah, you're right, they were our police officers who were there undercover performing their duties. So the bottom line is, Quebec police officers have been caught before manipulating the situation, trying to get these anarchist types to get aggressive and to throw rocks and to smash windows, which will provide the excuse for the police to clamp down on the entire crowd. And then the mainstream media will show one or two clips of somebody throwing something and say, look, these guys had to be stopped. The police had no choice but to go in and stop them. When, as I said, they manipulate mob mentality, they know how to get these anarchist types riled up, and they know how to manipulate them into getting aggressive and breaking windows and smashing things. And as I said, therefore clamping down on the legitimate protesters. So again, it's frustrating to see the mainstream media's coverage of this event, and that's precisely why I'm working on getting out there to Montreal in the next couple days. I really hope I can make this happen. Brian ended up getting called into the work this weekend, so now it's a matter of finding a ride there and back for me and Steve. And I've already had a number of people in Montreal offer up their homes and offer me a place to stay, which I'm very grateful for. So now it's just a matter of figuring out how to get me and Steve there and back with all our gear. So I hope I can manage to do that, and if I do, hopefully I'll be leaving tomorrow, but I'll certainly keep you guys posted about that. Because I want to get down there and cover this thing firsthand to show you guys what's truly going on. So anyways, guys, that's it for today. Just wanted to share that with you. There's a good chance you're going to see some of this on the 6 o'clock news tonight. And just remember, the way they're portraying it in the mainstream media is not how it actually went down. And that's it for today, guys. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.